Good evening, Chris. Long time no speak.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. It's been a while. I think our last contact was maybe April. It's been a lot has happened since then. We've had FlashCon. You've been traveling a lot. The barter world has really taken shape for Flashcoin and the crypto market. Well, it's fizzed a little, but the sexy bull run, I'm sure, is not too far away. So this call, we're just going to rehash over the last few months some milestones, some achievements, some plans, something from you with regards to what's next, what's on the agenda. We haven't had a dev update in a while, so maybe if you have anything on that end, I know the boys are working and the girls diligently behind the scenes. So, how's your summer been before we get started?
Well, it was too short. I mean, it was mostly a lot of travel. I was in the Far East for about 6 weeks in Japan, Korea, and Singapore. Some of it was personal, but some of it was for Flash. And then I was also in Washington, D.C. for a meditation conference, and then to Vancouver, and then I was back in Liechtenstein again just last week. So, as much as I've been trying to stay home and not be jet lagged, it's been difficult. And there's always because it's crypto, it's 24/7. It's around the world, and people want to see you in person. So it's a lot of work and a lot of travel.
Fast and furious. It's been like that for a while for you, and I guess on behalf of the Flash community in general, thank you for everything you do before we get started. But look, everybody, it's September 5th, Tuesday night. We're going to get this thing started in very short time here, but very exciting times ahead. FlashCon myself, I just want to chip in my own 2 cents there. It was an absolute pleasure meeting you, Chris. You're a stand-up guy. You speak the truth. You're a hard worker. Very great to connect all the different pieces there. We had coin payments. We had Vancouver Bitcoin. We had Einstein Shop. We had Jason King. We had the entire, well, lot of the Flash team. We had Stack. We had Drifters. We had Alicia. We had Patty. James Jr. was a big part of it in the open mic, and I think we were very fortunate to be enlightened on the world of barter, and we'll get into that a little bit later in this call. But Chris, just to begin, you've obviously been tracking the crypto world over the last few months. A bit of a depression, a little bit of excitement, a bit of more depression. So if we can just get the call started on where you see the crypto market forming in the next couple of months and what's happened previously.
Sure. Well, let's start with how happy everybody was in January, and it was great. I mean, everyone's crypto portfolio was at an all-time high. People were very optimistic about everything, and then about a month later, the rug came out from under the the uh, the whole circus, and then it seemed like people were going to fold up the tent and go away. But the reality is that a project like Flash, we're not that dependent on the price of the coin. That has nothing to do with it. We have enough people in our community who support it and who believe in what's happening here, and they will continue to support it whether the price goes up, down, whatever. It doesn't matter. Now, obviously, it's a lot more fun if the price is going up and people are happy, and that's why it's called the depression when prices are generally going down, is because people get depressed. So, I think the main thing I just want to, point out to everybody is this is a normal thing in crypto. And the people who've been in crypto for, 5 or 6 years, they lived through Mt. Gox, they lived through a bunch of different exchanges getting crashed, getting trashed. The price of Bitcoin would go up and then it would go down for a while. And, people they just get used to it. And I mean, let's face the fact. Right now, I mean, as of today, Bitcoin's around $7,000. And, 2 years ago, it was $800. So that's almost a 10x improvement in 2 years. And I mean, I don't know how many things have done that well. And you look at Flash, where was Flash? Where was Flash 2 years ago? It didn't exist, right? It existed starting about early to mid of last year, It we had our we had the donations that were collected, and then someone went and built the coins and then gave them away. And that was in the early part of last year. So it's been just over about almost a year and a half now that people have had Flash coins in their hands. And it takes a long time to get these things going. They are not like it's not like something you just print the coins and then you just go out and do something. It's not like that. So it's a process, and it's really more about community building. So the way I measure the metrics of how successful we are is how many people are using the coin, how many addresses do we have, how many people are using the various wallets, and so forth and so on. And that's really what's the most exciting thing to me, is that we're starting to see the traction. And where are we seeing the traction? We're seeing it from from places like the barter. We've now successfully tested Flash on 3 different barter exchanges. Why is barter exciting? Well, because it's about a 12 to 14 billion dollar market per year, and they're desperate for a solution that provides more liquidity for their markets, that provides another way that they can do interchange and reciprocal trading between different currencies. Each barter exchange, there are 3,500 of them in the world, and each one has its own currency. Now, it's not going to be practical for those people to go and take their barter currency and turn it into a crypto coin and put it on a crypto exchange and get people to start trading it, and then to build a wallet and do all the other things. So those people are now looking at Flash like it's it's a godsend for what they're trying to do, actually. And from the Flash point of view, when you look at this, these are private currencies. And you say, where are the private currencies where Flash could create this kind of interchange and this kind of usability? There are tons of them. All the loyalty things, airline miles. You think, there's actually quite a few private currencies that are out there in existence. Some of them are digital, almost none of them are crypto. So that's really, that's in a nutshell what I see happening with the market in general. What we're seeing is, I'm going to put my alphabet hat on here a little bit. What we're seeing from the overall market is that it's firming up. We're through the worst. And what's happening now is that we're seeing the OTC market, that's the over-the-counter market, which are the huge trades, which, by the way, that's 80% of the trading volume for crypto. 80% of that is all OTC, and the OTC markets are firming. That means that a lot of buyers are coming in, and the selling starting to dry up. That means the price is going to go up. So OTC is a leading indicator for what's going to happen with crypto markets. So I would expect that, and I don't make predictions on price, but I think things are going to start going up in terms of price. I think it's possible that a lot of the altcoins, including Flash, will be carried along. The good ones, especially the ones that have real usability, that have real, functionality and use cases, those things will all do well. And I think that you'll probably be very pleasantly surprised towards the end of the year.
That's awesome. That's a really good roundup there, and I echo your thoughts. I mean, I follow some of the different charting guys and TA guys online, and they're talking very similar language to what you do, and I'm excited. It's as you say, it's been 10x since 2 years ago, and even this time last year, we're probably 100% from where we were last year from a Bitcoin perspective and from a Flash perspective. Well, 3 times, but it's there's exciting times ahead, and it's a pleasure to hear it from you, someone who's got a bit more insight than the average Joe in the neighborhood. So exciting times ahead. Now, on to the next little segment here. I know you mentioned in the opening there you've been traveling a lot, and you said some for personal, but a lot with Flash. Can you just give us a little bit of an insight or enlighten us a little on where Flash has gone with you and your travels in the last 2 months?
Well, I mean, it goes with me everywhere because I've got my Flash wallet on my Android phone. that I carry with me. I don't put too much in it, of course, because it's just something that's portable, but it's, it goes everywhere. So, one of the things that people who are Flash users have come to learn, the most fun thing you can do with Flash is give it away. And that means you explain to people, like, for example, I'll give, like this morning I was in the library store where they sell the overstock books that people come to donate. The library doesn't want them. And then they sell them to the public, at a discount price a lot cheaper than like Amazon used books and so forth and so on. So I was in there talking to the woman who lives there, who works there, and she said, they wanted someone to come and speak on Bitcoin and so forth. And I said, well, you guys should take Bitcoin here. And she said, well, we can't because, we have this terminal here. I said, that's Square, right? She said, yeah, it's Square. I said, they will let you take Bitcoin. And, they won't let you take other crypto coins like Flash, but at least get them started with Bitcoin. And, so I'm going to give her some Flash to get her started. So she's never had a crypto coin. And you have to remember, there are a lot of people out there who've never had a crypto coin. They've read about it in the news. And Flash is an ideal way to introduce people to it. I mean, the price, it's about a penny right now. And, you can give people 100 Flash coins. It's like giving somebody, the equivalent of something like $1 if you go and trade it on an exchange. And it's just a gift. You give it away. And you should see people's faces light up when you do that. It's amazing. And to me, is that's what Flash is all about. So I think the main point here is that, we have to really focus our efforts as a community coin and think about everything from the community perspective. And we'll talk more about this when we get into the exchanges and what the status is and all those. But that is, there's what's happening is the markets are going to focus on things like community coins, and this has to do with the regulations. Community coins are generally very lightly, if at all, regulated. And that is a huge advantage. If you've ever run a business and then had to start doing regulation, it's a very expensive thing to do. Keeps out the competition, which of course a lot of the big guys like, but it also costs a lot of time and money to manage your business. And that cost goes and it gets passed on to your customers. So that's really what it's all about. And it's, the more we can focus on this community kind of mindset, we will do very, very well.
And I mean, you said recently you were in Liechtenstein and you were talking OTC just before. I got really excited at the beginning when you said you were traveling to Liechtenstein. Is there any update there? What can you bring to the call for today?
Yeah, well, everyone is going to ask about, okay, what's going on with Mammoth? We were talking about doing this big exchange in Liechtenstein and so forth. And, what I think has happened is that the entire world of exchanges have changed. And, many of your listeners may very well be aware of the costs of listing a coin on something like Binance. I mean, we've heard, people have said, oh, it's going to be $1, $2, $3 million to list your coin on Binance. Well, what's been happening is that people were paying these huge fees, and now they're not getting anything for that. They're getting their listing. Binance is a good exchange, but what's happening is they're not getting what they think is their money's worth for their $3 million. We think that's because the value proposition isn't give your money to an exchange and get listed and you're automatically going to be a winner. You have to be a winner first. You have to build a community and bring that community to someone like Binance. If you have a community of millions of users and you can go to Binance and they can see, here's a coin, it's been running successfully for 2, 3, 4 years. It's got a community of somewhere between 1 and 5 million users. They will have to list your coin and they will not charge you a penny to do it. They will come to you and say, we want to list your coin. And then of course, what would we say? We'd say, well, here are the specs. It's an open source project. You can come and get the specs. We can't stop anybody from listing the coin on their exchange. We can't, because it's open source. If someone wants to list it on their exchange, they can do it. So I think the days of people paying for exchanges, that's coming to an end. And the other point about Mammoth is that, it looks to us as we got into it, the thing we discovered was we believe that 5 or 6 exchanges will be the major players. And I don't know that they're going to be the exchanges that we know about today. NASDAQ, London Stock Exchange, all of the major exchanges are going to just be adding crypto. That's coming within the next 6 to 12 months. And you look at the order books, you look at the liquidity that comes on those kind of exchanges and the kind of people who are the players there, it dwarfs everything that you have today. Totally dwarfs it. So the question is, where are you going to want to be in the exchange? Well, of course, if you have a coin and you get listed by NASDAQ, that's a good thing. But what you also want to do, and this is where we want to focus, is, Mammoth decided to focus on OTC trading. And this is just a matter of picking low-hanging fruit. The number of OTC deals that are out there right now, and we see this continuing. People ask me, is this going to keep going? It's going to go on for a long, long time. Liechtenstein is ideally suited for this kind of trading. It's not a transactional kind of a place. And I think that people are going to realize that, if you want to do transactional type of business, New York, London, those kind of places are really built for that. Now, there are going to be some people who may build, good businesses in Liechtenstein. I'm not saying you can't do it, but what I'm saying is that the natural advantage of Liechtenstein is privacy and private property rights. And so that's why we have our foundation there. Third Millennium Foundation is based in Liechtenstein. That's why we have, we've looked at this OTC market and we've said, this is the way to do it because it's just something that doesn't require as much technology. It doesn't require the kind of staffing or investment initially. And you can pretty much get started and start making a lot of money. So that's what's happening with Mammoth. But what's going to happen is most of that kind of trading is going to happen inside the wallet. So we believe that the Flash Web wallet and the Flash wallet are incredibly valuable tools. And if you look at the Android and you look at the web wallet, you can see you can hold a number of different coins. You can hold Bitcoin, Litecoin, Flash, Dash. I think OMG just went in the other day. Now, the first step is holding it in your wallet. The second step is being able to trade it immediately at the best price. People don't care what the exchange is. They'll just look for a decentralized exchange as long as the thing is reliable and they get a good price. If they can click a button and have one-stop shopping, they want to go shopping like on Amazon. So if I want to sell my Flash for something or trade it for something, I know I can click this button and get this value that's listed on the screen, and I'll just get it right away. Some people like to play a game. So it's really like Amazon versus eBay. If you're Amazon, you just go there and you want to click. Now, which company is bigger? Amazon is way bigger than eBay because people fundamentally don't want to play a game. And quite frankly, cryptocurrency coins are not unique items. They're a commodity. They're the same. My Flash coin is exactly the same as your Flash coin, at least as far as the blockchain treats it. It's got a little bit different number, but it's got a different address, but it functions exactly the same. So that's the update for Mammoth, and the reason for why we've made these kind of changes is to focus on these things. We've made a conscious decision to focus on the off the grid things that community coins are so good at. If you look at what's happening right now in the marketplace for coins, a lot of the coins are going to be deemed to be securities. If you had an ICO, and Flash did not, you are probably automatically going to be deemed to be a security because you sold your coin for money and people had an expectation of some kind of return. That is the definition of a security. So most of the ERC20 tokens, those things are mostly securities. Now we'll probably put a lot of those into the into the Flash wallets because we know that people want to be able to trade those, and to be able to have a trading pair with Flash built into the wallet is something that I think is very exciting. And I think it's even more exciting if you think about some of the liquidity providers that we can bring in. I just had a call with one this morning. They're very interested in this too, because they're looking at opportunities. They're saying all these big guys are going to come in these huge markets and they're going to kill everybody. And we're not a huge guy. I mean, these are people with, hundreds of millions of dollars of capital, but that's tiny in the big scheme of things. So that's where we're going. That's why, don't be disappointed. Oh, Mammoth it was going to be the next Binance, and now it's not going to be like Binance. It's going to be something different. Don't even worry about it. Look at the wallet and look at the functionality, because the way the Flash system is designed, it's built for, first of all, people on the street can be the first line of defense for trading. If someone wants to do an OTC trade, the original Bitcoin, think about how Bitcoin got started. Bitcoin got zero help from the banks. Zero. Banks were against it. Most people who have been trading Bitcoin for more than 2 or 3 years, they've lost a number of bank accounts. And the reason is because the bank's like, are you trading crypto coins? Yes, I am. And then they cancel your account. I mean, that happens to a lot of people. So that's the model that we want to follow, is a completely legal model, one where people can trade their private property independently of going through an exchange. The problems with exchanges, everybody knows them. They get hacked, you lose your coins. There's another set of problems that, as we were going through our due diligence, that we became aware of, which is fractional reserve. How do you know that the exchange even has all the coins they say they do? Most of them don't have any kind of full audit to say, this is how many coins we claim we have. We're holding these coins for our customers. And here's the address where you can prove that we have the coins. I've never seen that. So that's the that's the reason why we're focused on this, which is the human ATMs, which is someone being able to go around. If you're in India, a tuk-tuk driver, someone who wants to make and earn additional income, trading crypto coins like Flash, using the Flash wallets, and having a way to provide discovery and settlement, all within one simple wallet. That, we think, is the winning formula.
Brilliant. Yeah, and you've touched on this, and you even touched on it at FlashCon. So we'll dip into the human ATMs shortly, but just to sort of wrap up a bit of your travel, was there anywhere else that you visited that there was any sort of business or connection or something to talk about Flash? Did you head to the Middle East at all?
No, I didn't go to the Middle East this time. I was just in the Far East. I was in Japan. I was in Korea. And the funny thing is, I had an appointment with one of the exchanges in Korea. I can't mention the name. And literally, the day after I arrived, we were supposed to have our meeting in a couple days, and literally it got canceled because they got hacked. So it's this is the problem with these exchanges. And they have all the regulations. The regulators are all over these people, and so getting new coins listed is always difficult on these exchanges. And I think right now it looks to me like the main thing that we have to focus on with Flash is market making, and making sure that there are enough people who want to trade the coins on the exchanges that we already have. We have some fine exchanges. I mean, if you look at the ones we've got Einstein, we've got Cryptopia, we've got Coin Exchange. I mean, there's at least 4 or 5 others. And there are a few more that are coming on. In fact, an Australian one's coming on, I think, later this month. And that's going to be a big one. That one, they wanted to put pairs, fiat pairs with Flash for, I think, 5 currencies. So that could be a very, very big one. And providing that kind of ability for people to get liquidity using Flash is a huge thing. And what that does is it enables people to build all kinds of different business models. So the short answer is no, it didn't go to the Middle East this time, but these are the kind of things that we spend our time doing, and it's the kind of travel. It's not like I went and saw President Trump or something like that, and he said we're going to replace the U.S. dollar with Flash. That's not happening. Um, but there's a lot of other exciting things happening, especially around the world of private currencies.
Absolutely. And I guess I should never ask for a short answer from you, Chris, because it never comes short. It comes in depth and it's beautiful. But no, thank you for the update there. And I guess you touched on it already, the human ATMs. Obviously, that's a huge function of what Flash can do. You've briefly touched on what it is. Uh, any sort of further progression with this part of the roadmap?
Well, it's tied into, I think we're going to start seeing the first real features next month, which is October. Um, the next features that I know that are in development right now are Trezor. We have a team working on that right now. We have code that was pulled into Trezor, and it has not been pushed out into their official release. So what we decided to do was we said, we need a hardware wallet for people. And what you're going to be able to do is just to take a dedicated Trezor and flash it with the flash code that we've developed, and it'll be a dedicated flash Trezor. Now, it's not as convenient as having one device where you can store your Dash, your Bitcoin, your Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, whatever. But it's definitely it's a big move for us because we know we need a hardware wallet. That seems to be one of the things that, when you start getting professional investors, having to take basically a dedicated computer and just take it offline and throw it into a Faraday bag is a lot of work. So that's why we're making such a big push with the Flash Web wallet, or with Trezor, which will be integrated with the Flash Web wallet. So, as far as the human ATM features, October, that's what I'm told. And, I'm expecting the first set of features will come out, and it's going to be one of those things where we'll go and do some testing. We're already doing testing in places like Venezuela. And I was just talking to some of our people there tonight. It's a very difficult environment, very dangerous environment. People are literally just fleeing the country, and mostly the small businesses. So the last move by the government, they took 5 zeros off the currency, and then what they did was they made it to the point where they're now backing the currency with a petro, which is supposed to be backed with oil, but who knows? There's no redemption for the oil, so it could be another scam. I don't know, but it doesn't look good. So anyway, that's the human ATM, is to protect people like this so that they are able to trade in a safe environment. But the big opportunity, I think, for this is going to come from a place like India. And as you know, a lot of our developers are from India, and so it's near and dear to their heart. The Central Bank of India said, your business, if you're a bank, you cannot do business with crypto. So what that's done is it's basically pushed everything out onto the street and offshore. So you're seeing a lot of exchanges starting up in places like Mauritius, which is a banking center for Indians, and you're also seeing you're going to start seeing the human ATM features when they roll out. They will be, I think, very, very big in a place like India, and we'll get the community behind that. We'll get people to get donations together to push to push Flash into the hands of people in India. It's ideally suited for a country like that.
Awesome. And I guess the sort of next question that came in was it sort of piggybacks off what we were just talking about human ATMs, but the specific question, it's quite detailed and direct. So once the human ATM, the swap bot, and the social send features are all added to the mobile wallets, Flash will have seriously one of the most powerful wallet apps in the crypto space. Firstly, do you agree, Chris?
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
that's 100% correct.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. It's just what it is at this point in time right now. Uh, it's a slick beast, and yeah, those features in it changes it completely, and it'll be like the kind of like the first in, that's first to market with that sort of a feature. To follow up there, I was asked then to ask you, is there a plan to then make the masses more aware of this amazing tool, either via traditional advertising, with white labeling, with telcos, or anything else?
Well, I think traditional advertising, I don't think will work for something like this. I think if it was bundled with somebody else who's doing a bunch of traditional advertising and we had some kind of promotion where they included in their advertising and they spend the advertising and we basically donate some flash to help them get their constituency, their user base using flash and maybe a private label wallet too. We've talked to a number of people about that. I think private label, which is the white label wallet, um, is actually a very, very good idea. And that's something that's been, from the design, from the day that we clean sheet designed the Flash wallet was we sat down and we said, what is it that people are going to want to do? And we know there's going to be a big market for white label wallets. And I think, one of the first ones of those could very well be the Flash Trade .io, which is, remember, if you were at the FlashCon in Vancouver in when was it? In July. That is, that's exactly what we're talking about doing with Flash Trade. It'll be a private label wallet. So people are going to be able to take the source code and run it themselves, or maybe they'll find a partner, a developer somewhere who wants to host it, or they'll find some kind of an exchange who wants to host a wallet as well. So that is the long-term game plan. The white labeling is the best way to go because we don't have, as everybody knows, we don't have a giant slush fund. We don't have 55 billion ripples sitting around like Ripple does. We don't have the ability to just go out and spend huge amounts of money doing stuff like this because we're a real community coin. Real community coins do not have a slush fund. That's just the way it is. So what we have to do is we have to just live off the donations from the community. And so far, we've done very well with that. And I don't see any reason why we can't do it as well. Bitcoin, that's how they did it too. Bitcoin did exactly the same thing. So, from that point of view, you look at the wallet features, you look at the ability to do white labeling, and what do people want with a white label wallet? They either want somebody else to run it for them, but with their brand, or they want the source code and they just want to run everything themselves. And my feeling is, as long as you have Flash inside the wallet prominently featured, go for it.
Love it. Love it. And yes, I do recall that part of the segment at FlashCon when we had quite the passionate speaker introduce us to the Flash Trade feature. So, and just going back to FlashCon, there were some pretty unique and pretty cool announcements made, and just to make the connection with some of the crew. And you know what? One of the standout parts of the conference for me was hearing about Bill Hala from the CEO there at FTI talk about the barter world and introduce it to us. So I know definitely there is an YouTube clip highlighting his entire spiel. And without further ado, I'd like you to sort of give us an update. I mean, we've seen tidbits here and there flow through about announcements, but FTI, where are we at? What's happening with the barter world? You've touched on it already. Can we be a little bit more conclusive?
Well, we've got, keep this in mind. Flash is a public blockchain. So everyone's like, well, is Flash making any deals with people? Flash cannot make deals. Flash is not a company. There's nothing to make a deal with. All people do is they decide they want to adopt the protocol of Flash or not. And if people want to adopt the protocol, if they like it, then there's a whole community that comes with that. And that's what's attractive to people. So what we're doing right now is we're about to do a big email next week to all the people who have Flash wallets. Everyone that it's on the Flash mailing list is going to get this email. And it's an invitation to go join one of the barter networks, and you can spend your Flash at the barter network. And that's what's going to happen. So now you're going to have a place to take Flash and go spend it. And you can trade it for the barter dollars, and you can trade the barter dollars for whatever it is you want to buy on the network. I did 3 trades as a test. I'll always do things myself before I'll tell people in the community to go do it. I bought maple syrup from 3 different exchanges in Canada. And as you know, maple syrup is Canadian maple syrup is probably the best in the world. And that's why I went and bought it. I wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to test out doing it with Flash, and it went very smoothly, very simply. Our web wallet, because we've enabled people to use their email address, not just the public address like Bitcoin does. We actually have a wallet where people can use their email address, and that is much simpler for mass adoption. Now, who are the people who are doing barter? These are companies primarily. So we're talking about commercial businesses. They are interested in opening this up so that they can have consumers coming in and buying as well. And that's why one of the things they want to accomplish with Flash. The other thing that we're hoping to accomplish is that FTI will be working on some things with exchanging coins between the different exchanges and working with the owner of the exchange to be a market maker. And what this is going to do is it's going to open up a lot of different liquidity potential for these exchanges. The average exchange has around $3 million of unused credits just sitting there. And that's just basically unused money. That's just dead money sitting there. They need to get it to work, and they need to get people transacted. The exchange wants to see it because they get a fee every time someone transacts. If someone doesn't transact, they don't get a fee. So the credits that are just sitting there, the barter credits, which are denominated in barter dollars. In Canada, they're Canadian dollars. In the US, they have barter exchanges here, and they're US dollars. This is a completely legal private currency. And people pay tax on things just like they do when they have to recognize the gain. They have to pay the tax. That's how it is. So that's the long and short of it, is that the excitement around the barter, and Bill correctly pointed this out in his talk. And if you go on our website, you can see where the talk from FTI was. It's archived, it's video, and you can go look at it. And one of the stories Bill told the audience, which I thought was really impressive, was there was a person who owned a hotel. He could not get credit from the local bank, but he needed to expand his hotel. And the way he did it was with barter. So barter is a form of credit that is extended by a community. So that is almost exactly the way Flash works too. So it's a perfect fit. Flash is a perfect fit into barter. And I think that as you see more and more of these barter exchanges start to go, you'll start to see people coming in. They're going to have to go buy some Flash. Where are they going to get it? They're going to either get it from somebody who's a community member, or they're going to have to go on an exchange and buy it. That's what's going to happen. So I think that you're going to see a lot more traction in terms of people actually using it. Transaction sizes are large. I think the average barter transaction is several $1,000s. So it's not like it's a 10-cent transaction. These things are fairly substantial transactions.
That's exciting. And just a heads up, if you hear me sort of phasing in and out, it's my mic. I've got an echo on my end, so I'm trying to stay away from hearing my voice twice. But that's exciting. Yeah, Bill definitely gave us a great insight to where FTI is, their plans, his passion, the barter industry, and to be honest, it blew me away. I didn't really have any idea about the barter world and what it entailed, and I really, really push anybody who has any sort of interest in what FDI is, aside from what it's going to do for Flash, just so you can hear about the barter world, and it really has a big part in society. Um, Next up, actually, I just had a question on Telegram. Shout it out. Where is that? It's just from. How's the Flash Trade website going? So you did touch on it. We did talk about it at a FlashCon. I can't exactly remember if you gave too much away just before we chatted. Can you just give an update on what the Flash Trade website is going?
Well, devs are working on it. I mean, they're building, they're building a private label wallet for Flash Trade. That's basically what's going on. And the last thing was they have all the little bugs like the captcha is the URL had to be changed for the captcha, and we had to get different keys for that. And I mean, it's in process. So I would say that you will probably see something, and then obviously it's going to have to go through a lot of testing because we're dealing with this is a mass adoption kind of a thing. And so, anyone who does mass market consumer type software, you really have to test it before you roll it out. You can't just do a soft launch and put it out there and then have it not work. You have to have gone through and tested every single thing and made sure that it actually functions the way it's supposed to. And that's where we are right now. The advantage, of course, is that we've got 75, 80,000 people who have used the Flash wallets, and that's the thing that we have to do next is we have to get that, and then we have to build a private label version of the Android. So those are the things that's where it stands right now. But that project is, as far as I know, it's ready to launch very soon. As soon as everything is working, it's ready to go. I mean, these are people who have major sponsorship from, large marketing organizations, and they're looking for the crypto. I mean, part of it is also, don't forget, we've been in a crypto winter, and that started in February, and it's gone on until now, and it's just now starting to come out. So people are now starting to get positioned and hoping for a big fall for crypto because it's going to be on the tip of people's tongues very soon. And in order to meet the needs of millions of people, you have to go through and do all this testing. So that's where it stands right now. They're basically in the Q&A phase of it.
Great. I hope that answers the question. I think it was Erect Banana. Love the name. I'm actually sitting right now on the BitcoinRush.io website. Uh, I'm loving what I'm seeing. Is this telling me I can use Flash to bet on Thursday night's NFL opener, Atlanta versus Philadelphia?
If you're not from the U.S., I believe you can. There may be a few other countries that are blacklisted, but they have skill games. This is a casino that someone just pointed this out to me today, and it's an online casino that has provably honest skill games and casino, plus a sports book, live wagering. And if you go to bitcoinrush.io, you scroll down on the screen, you can play with Bitcoin, Litecoin, Flashcoin.
Awesome. Yeah, no, you sent me a link before we got on the call, and I quickly jumped on it. And there is Flashcoin in big bold letters next to Litecoin, and ADOS Kunin, whatever coin that is, and Bitcoin.
I'd never heard of that one. But
Yeah.
here's the thing that's interesting is that the amount the minimum bet with that is, I believe it's like zero point 0.1 flash. So you could take, very tiny amount of flash and go and play around with it. I would highly encourage everybody who's a flash user, if it's legal where you're from, go check it out.
I mean, what? I'm just looking at it right now. So if I literally went to Sportsbook, the tab at the top, and then I clicked, it's in football, bet now, I'm signed up. Do I have to deposit Flash into a wallet here on the website?
I haven't done this. I'm from the U.S., so
Oh, of
I'm going to
course.
steer clear from this. But I'm sure that I'll have somebody go there and try it out and see what they think about it. But it looks like a really good website, and they've got a lot of different things. Football, baseball, soccer, all this kind of stuff. And yeah, no, I think it's actually a pretty good website, and I've talked to a few of the people who work there, and they're good people.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I quite often catch up with James and we watch football and generally throw down cash, not Flash. So that may have to change, and I'll have to see if I am eligible from Canada, despite the Australian accent, Get on the bets. This is
Well,
exciting.
you can just, making a person to person wager. I
Oh,
don't think that's
absolutely.
illegal. I mean, people do it all the time in the US and in office pools and whatnot. And people say, I'll bet you $20 on my football team will beat your football team kind of thing, right? And no
Totally.
one no one says anything about it. It's not like it's some kind of organized thing. It's just people just, making a wager. So, that's actually something that would be an interesting thing inside of Flash with the human ATM. It's almost like an adjunct to the human ATM would be to have some kind of a wagering thing built into the wallet, which is that if you find somebody who wants to wager against you on something, you could just do it directly.
Yeah, I can't wait to beat James's ass on this. Have a bit of fun. Um, Lovely, awesome. Yeah, no, this is a great little tool. I'll let you know how I go. I First game's up on Thursday, so um, yeah. Look, I think that's pretty much on the agenda what I had written up. Sort of want to put it out there as an open mic. Oh, hang on, I just remembered there was. Let me scroll down a sec. Yeah, someone was just the usual when Moon, but we won't talk about Moon. I want to talk about exchanges. You've talked about Mammoth. The path has changed a little. We've obviously got Einstein, which was a big thing for us. Uh, we've got Blockbid on the agenda. Is that the name of the Aussie exchange? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Um, Anything else that you can bring to the table in terms of exchanges?
Well, there are always once that look, here's the thing. The big exchanges, the ones that everyone wants to get Flash on, this is Binance, Bittrex, Huobi, whatever. The thing that we have to focus on right now is community, because once you have a big enough community and you have enough trading volume just going, on even something like Cryptopia or Coin Exchange or whichever exchange it is, and you have some basic market making and it's happening every day, that is that right there is what you have to do is to get that done first, and then the exchanges will they'll probably come and take you and put you on the exchange no matter what. They want it. They want coins like this. They want coins with a community. So I think the focus has to be on building the Telegram group up to 50,000 people. It should be the focus should be on getting people actively using Flash. Should be on getting that human ATM network to start going. And then all those people who are doing all those things are going to need more exchange services. So it's really, put the cart before the horse. No, you have to put the cart after the horse. The horse is the community pulling the cart and doing it using the social media, using one-to-one communications where I just, send you some Flash and you now have Flash, and now what are you going to do with it? Well, some people want to go trade it on an exchange. That's the kind of utility that we have to create. That's my opinion, and that's why I think, I'm not as focused on getting on, another 10 or 20 exchanges. Obviously, if it's a good exchange and they want to list it, I'd be all in favor of it. We'd even pass the hat, like we did with Einstein, and try and pay the development costs if there are any. But in general, I think we're moving away from that. I think what's going to happen is we're going to be focused on just the community. If the community is there, people will list you for free. It's just that simple.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier in the call. So everybody asking about exchanges, I think that pretty much answers your question. A quick shout out whilst we're at it. We're approaching the 50-minute mark and want to keep people intrigued and excited about what's going on in the call. Just a quick shout out to Crypto Viking and whoever else who has contributed to the website. I must say it's outstanding. It looks beautiful. It's slick. The design is spot on. I'm just looking at it now. I can hear Chris scrolling on his mouse as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm loving it. I mean, I love that picture of Singapore. In fact, I was just there. I was staying I could see where my hotel was. Fullerton Harbor, right down there, and it was across from the giant, the boat on top of the three-pillared hotel over there. I can't remember the name of the hotel. It was. I had dinner up at the top. It was. It's quite a trip. They have quite a light show.
Rub it in, rub it in. No, it looks incredible, incredible, guys. So, Crypto Viking and everyone else that has contributed to the website. I know there's a lot behind the curtains there, and you got the usual names doing their thing. James constantly, you have a chat with him in person. The excitement on that guy's face. Stack, obviously, big part of it. Patty and Alicia doing their thing in the background. Everybody, odds brah, and Enki especially. I've been in chatting with him a lot, and just a simple pat in the back doesn't go astray every now and again. So thanks, guys. Um, I guess I think that's about it. Chris, did you want to wrap it up with some final parting statement? I thought I had something else on the agenda here, but I can't seem to find it in my notes.
Well, people can ask questions on Discord too. I'm usually there almost every day. I've been traveling. When I travel, sometimes it's hard for me to get a connection. If I'm on a plane, the connection's not strong enough to connect on the Discord, so I can't do it. But when I land, I usually get to a place where I have some Wi-Fi and whatnot. But what's happening right now. I mean, the exciting thing is that people are still very deeply involved in this community because of what Flash stands for. That's really the key. And so what ends up happening is, right now James is in Ghana. I was just talking to him this morning on Skype, and he's in Ghana, and he's already gotten 10 merchants in Ghana to sign up for Flash wallets. He's in the process of getting some people connected there so they can do human ATM, and also to do, to get some kind of a real exchange going. And if you think about it, Flash is a great way for a country like that to be able to use a cryptocurrency and to be able to use the wallet to build their own exchange around. That's where I think this is going to go, and that's when people talk about white labeling the wallet. That's exactly what we're talking about, which is to take that wallet and say, okay, Mr. Exchange in Ghana, here's the open source for this. You can be in business with your own exchange with basically almost no cost. And that is extremely attractive. And if you look at what people charge for exchange software, I mean, it's millions of dollars. And these countries, these developing countries and other small countries, there's just no way they can afford that. It's just not going to happen. They just don't have a big enough market for it, and they just don't have the the wherewithal to make it happen. So I think Flash offers a very, very interesting and I would say unique way to solve this problem. So that's I just want to leave that in everybody's mind. If you wake up tomorrow and you're thinking, what is it that I can do for Flash? Just go give some Flash away. Give somebody 10 Flash. Give them one Flash. It doesn't even matter. It's just so that people can see what it is. And, it doesn't even have to be anything of any kind of cash value. Just one Flash is enough that people can get it in their wallet and they can see how it works. The transaction fee right now is set. I know there's another question people had is, what happens when in the future after we run through the initial pot that we're going to put together for paying the gov nodes and the miners? Is that one of the questions you had?
Sorry, had myself on mute. There was a question on Discord recently, actually, about it. Did you want to go into that a bit at all, or?
Well, yeah, the answer is the transaction fee goes up, and that's how you pay for it. And it has to be paid out of transaction fees. So there's really, it's not, making something work off of a donation. I saw something that I thought was really good today. There's an Arab gentleman who goes around to Arab countries, helping his fellow Arabs and Muslims. And what he does is he gives them money to start a business. And if you think about it, that's the best way to do it, because that person is then going to have an income. They're going to be able to make a living doing something productive for society. And once that person gets established, they will have profits and then they can go help other people to do the same thing. So as long as they stay motivated and they work hard and they do a good job, they will be successful. And that is really, I think that's really the key point here is that with Flash, it's not going to be about, having this endless stream of donations, having this pool of 55 billion coins that you can just go and, it's like a money printing machine. That's not what it's all about. It's about getting a positive return, a virtuous cycle going with the coin. That's really what it's all about. So and how do you do that? You just give one flash away to somebody. Go make a friend. That's a very positive and virtuous way to do it.
Your message hasn't really changed from day one, Chris, and once again, it doesn't take a hell of a lot to do that. So I'm gonna, after speaking to you again, always invigorates me, excites me. I speak to the guys on the team. There's excitement, there is passion, this is a baby for everybody. Everybody wants to grow it and make sure it can walk, and when it's ready to run, it's going to run. So, on that note, Chris, it's been a pleasure as always. Sorry it's taken so bloody long to get onto the call again. It's been 4 months pretty much. So glad we're back on the ball. I'm going to be doing a bit of travel myself back to Australia in about 2 weeks. So mid-October, maybe we reconnect and sort of connect, get a few touch points on the human ATMs. And I've got a feeling there's a few little things going on in the background right now after speaking with Enki and a couple of the guys. Looking forward to seeing what those guys are going to produce. So, Chris, if there's nothing else you want to add, we're approaching 60 minutes, perfect amount of time. Up to you. We can end it right now.
Nope, let's just end it right now. You know what they say, if you're drilling and you don't hit oil, stop boring. That's a joke.
I think we've struck gold a couple of times, but oil, yeah. All right, mate. Well, once again, thanks for your time. It's been a pleasure. We'll get some editing done, get this up to the community. Looking forward to sharing the good news. And until next time, my friend.
Beautiful. Thanks for having me. And as usual, wishing the best to everybody in the Flash community.
Thanks, Chris, and we'll chat soon.